Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are checking out episode 3 of Summertime Rendering. So, I may have already started to put together a collection of clues that have come up in this series already. I want to figure out all the things, okay? So, I have my board with all of my little notes on it, and I'm just gonna keep adding to it. So, maybe I'll be able to organize my thoughts in some way, but it is definitely going to descend into some kind of chaos at some point. I can only stay organized for so long before chaotic energy takes over, so we'll see what happens with that. But we spent quite a bit of the last episode with Shin trying to figure out what is even happening, what the time loop is, what his involvement is with these shadows, and we got to see him trying to manipulate events, so changing where he is so that he was outside when the shadow form of Mio was there, and overhearing their conversation and getting stabbed a little bit, having to start over again and seeing that the time loop isn't the exact same all the time. Sometimes he ends up in a different place, so I don't know how that is lined up. He discovered that his eyes are different colors, which is something that I just thought he knew, but apparently he didn't. That's a new thing that has happened, so I feel like that has some more direct connection to his abilities, because before I thought maybe it was just like character design choice to like make him very distinctive. Then we had the picture of him as a kid where he didn't have different colored eyes, so I thought maybe it was something that he grew into that had some connection to his abilities, but he just wasn't sure of what was going on until recently. And then apparently his eyes haven't changed until very, very recently, so I feel like it has more of a direct connection to what is going on with this island and shadows and time loops and all of that that is going on. But we are seeing him try to correct some of the things that have been going on. I don't know how long that will work out for him because he only knows so much about what's going to happen, so I feel like there are definitely quite a few more times that we're going to loop back in time as he discovers new things and tries to right them. I also don't know if what he's doing is actually correcting them or if he's just creating a different timeline, because I don't know what the ramifications of his actions are yet, and he doesn't either, so I'm sure that Shin will continue to struggle his way through, especially since this is episode 3. I don't expect him to have any answers, so I am ready to find some new clues, be given some more information, see if we discover some more of these shadows which have been around for a while, and I wonder who else in this town has been replaced by them, if anyone would even know, because they just kind of make the bodies of the original people kind of dissolve into nothingness. So I don't really know. I feel like the abilities of these shadows is somehow linked to Shin's ability, because we did see similarities between the two abilities with the light that was kind of around them when they were using them, so I don't know how direct that is, but I feel like there has to be some kind of connection there. I just don't know what it is yet, but I am far more pulled into this than I expected to be, as I want to know all of the things. So let's get into episode 3. In 3, 2, 1, go. The cicada sound? That's me now. That's my life. It's so hot right now. I feel like Mio is probably like the best person for him to try and convince because she's seen one of the shadows before. So she's probably more inclined to believe him as opposed to other people. I understand where he's coming from too with the not wanting Mio to run into danger aspect, especially since he's like made this promise to protect her. But like, what is the best tactic for protecting her, right? Because I don't know, maybe I'm just like too paranoid that I'm like, if he's not watching her, then how does he know it's her? Like, I'm like, how do you know that it's not the shadow Mio? Because we know that she's out there somewhere. They're out there? I guess they probably don't have a set gender given the transformation. Anyway, So is it better to leave her on her own or to look after her? Because if she already has a shadow, then her life is probably in danger because they tend to kill off the people that they copy. So is it better to leave her behind or to keep her by his side? I don't know. I'm trying to remember what details have happened in this particular timeline. I feel like it's only going to get harder with time. Ugh, me over the last couple days. It has been so hot that I've just been struggling to function. Who are you? Should I know who you are? I don't know at this point. Green soft serve is just green? What flavor is it? What does green entail? Is it mint? Is it cashew? I need more details, Jin. Isn't Koba. Ooh, no, unlocked door. Always bedside. Isn't Koba the family that disappeared with the little girl that was there when Ishio drowned? Died under mysterious circumstances? The food being left out is also worrisome. Oh, so a little too late on the saving them from the shadows thing, huh? Interesting to have the two shins there because there's already the sense of duality with him between like his eyes and just sort of there's like the one that lives on the island, there's the one that lives in Tokyo. There's this sense of like simultaneously existing in more than one place with Shin. So having the two of them with like the one that almost has like an aura of like an internal Shin and then the external one's interesting. Interesting. Floor damaged. There's only the two though. So where's the little girl? Exactly. Shiori. Where's she? Because she's probably the one with some answers about the whole Yushio incident. Ominous dark hallways? Probably not great to be there alone. Ooh, what happened? It was almost like the flash from like a camera, like the really old flash on cameras. That's like the sound. What it reminded me of. Is that supposed to be Shiori? Seems like it probably isn't actually her. The dead eyes are not a good sign. Oh, so shadow. She was a shadow even probably before he made it to the island. There's just something about children and supernatural elements that makes it 10 times creepier. Shadow sickness. Is there something that happened at the funeral then? I'm trying to remember if there was a flash like that at the funeral. I probably would have just assumed it was people taking pictures. But I have like a weird memory that that was something that happened now. Did that toilet have a sink on the back of it, or am I tripping? Because that is the oddest thing that I've ever seen. But also, like, kind of, I mean, it's all plumbing. I'm questioning a lot of things about a sink and a toilet in one. I know that's not the point of this episode. Yes, definitely don't go into the forest. Of course, the girl is there. Are we gonna try and save her? True, we started at a different point, so she has not slapped you yet. Probably. Good point. She does seem to have a lot of luggage. I got distracted by all the text on the side of the screen. Definitely do not use that as a descriptive point. No. Why? She's not staying anywhere. Where is she camped out somewhere? She's a little bit strange. She did that thing where she was hanging upside down. So maybe she's camping out somewhere. Is he a shadow or fine? I feel like that's gonna be me with everyone in the show. I'm gonna be like, shadow or actual person? Way to deflect with food. Did you really talk to them yesterday, though? Were they actually there at the funeral, or were they already shadows? Okay, so he's acting more normal. So he's not a shadow. That's good. We saved someone. Oh, it's Ushio's. What's on it? Was she collecting evidence like Shin was? Because he was taking like videos and pictures and stuff on his phone. Was she also doing that? Because otherwise, why would she want it handed down? I feel like most of us would be like super uncomfortable with someone taking care of our phone. We weren't around. I would anyway. Even though there's nothing on my phone that would cause any kind of worry or embarrassment, but I feel like, I don't know, it just feels weird to share my phone, even though there's like nothing on it. Can you trust him though? Literally, every person in this are gonna be like, "Are you a shadow?" So they're thinking she was. So they think Yoshio was killed by um Shiori's shadow, the little girl, but shadow form. I wonder why they left Yoshio's body though. Like, why strangle her? And then why leave the body when they can just disintegrate them? See, at least someone is as paranoid as me. Thank you. I know that there's a certain amount of trust that needs to happen in order for any of this to work, but at least someone is thinking about these things the way that I am. Wouldn't a monster show up on camera anyway? Is that different in Japanese mythology? Yeah, we should avoid wandering in the forest. What was gonna happen to the girl with the glasses, though? Is she still wandering around in the forest anyway? We still haven't found her. Might be better, though. If it's busy, then there'll be lots of people around. Yeah, be a good incentive, I guess. Instead of being alone in the forest with no one to, like, see that there are multiple Mios and stuff. Will a safe word work, though? Because when they become. The shadows become them. Do they take some of their memories? I assume that they would to some extent. Maybe they don't. Maybe they have to watch the person they're going to copy first. The double shin again. I feel like they should come up with a system to share information in more real time. Because if something can happen to them, you lose someone who has a bunch of important information, and then you can't pass it along. I mean, ideally, nobody gets hurt to the point where they can't pass on the information, but from a logistical side of things, it would be nice. That festival they were talking about? I thought maybe she was gonna ask him to go to the festival with her. You know, there's like with her, but then there's like with her, you know? Oh yeah, and this one he didn't have the shell yet, did he? I wonder if there's something important about the shell in terms of a clue. Because it would have been something that, like, Yushil was always wearing. I think the password would probably be something that only Shin knew, because she specifically wanted him to have the phone right. So the password is probably something that, like, not just anyone would know about. Ooh, purple's a pretty color on her. You can tell that she's supposed to be very pretty in this scene because they have the soft lighting in the background. The little circles of color. Hmm, I'm serious. I feel like he probably did learn something. Why did he want to learn about it? What was his thought process? It's a very quiet crowd. I'm used to festivals having a certain, like, volume level to them. Um, Survivor's Guilt then? Because he wasn't there. Oh, he got a soft serve. Seriously, what flavor is it though? Is it just food coloring? He did do that. He could have knocked, but he didn't. I feel like the headlock is justified in this instance. A simple knock could have cleared up a lot of misunderstandings. Ooh, and his family. There's like friend zoned, and then there's like family zoned. I don't think that's what she wanted him to say. Lots of close-ups of the lighter eye. He had darker eyes before, but specifically with the shadows and supernatural things, because we have him thinking he sees Yoshio. I feel like maybe we shouldn't run towards it. I know he's probably coming from a place of like thinking he sees his friend who has passed away and thinking that you see that person, you would react in that kind of way, but also, and he kind of like sees her on occasion. But, it could also be a shadow, so maybe don't run off on your own. Definitely don't run out away from all of the people. It could be a shadow. Some caution. Interesting to end up on the beach again, though, because obviously she supposedly drowned, so to end up in the water again. Ooh, the fireworks in the background, too, though, is very symbolic. Because it's like bursts of color when he sees her. There's some pretty lighting in this series, given that there's tend to be like high contrast of like light and shadows and stuff. Oh, jamais vu. I know that. I know what that means. Hint for what the next episode will bring. So we got to see Shin dealing with the parts of the story timeline that he knows anything about, whereas now he's wandered in to that place of getting past that first day. So originally they went to the shrine and time got restarted again. This time they didn't go and they ended up in the evening of the next day with the festival. So uncharted territory at this point, but he is building like a group of people that he trusts with Miho and Sho. I don't know if I'll pronounce his name correctly, but his friend from before. So he is having a group of people around him that can support him and at least believe him and trust him, and hopefully that'll work out okay. I don't know. Could go either way. I feel like especially with Mio, because we know that she has a shadow out there somewhere, that one, it means that she's probably the person who would be easiest to convince of the shadows existing because she's seen one, but also if she has a shadow out there, then it puts into question whether or not you're talking to the actual Miho or not, because you know that she has been copied at some point. So still, I feel like having at least some kind of support system is a good idea because you can't do all of this on your own, I don't think. I feel like that's probably not the solution to all of this. I am curious about the woman with the glasses that he originally met on the boat before, who we just haven't encountered. So was she already by the shrine? Did she still get attacked? And it was just that Shin wasn't there this time to also be attacked? I don't know. We haven't been able to find her. She's somewhere on the island, but not in any of the inns and things like that. So probably trying to stay as much under the radar as possible, but I'll be interested to see where that storyline ends up, like what shifts with her. Like, is her having that encounter at the shrine linked to Shin and Mio being there or not? I feel like it isn't because it kind of happened beyond them, but I'm not really sure. So maybe she is camped out somewhere around the shrine and that is a particular place of interest for her, but I'm assuming that we'll pick up her storyline at some point. And then of course at the end of the episode, having Shin having some kind of run-in with Yoshio, maybe? He does kind of see her around when time reboots, so I feel like seeing her, some kind of version of her is linked to his powers. I don't know if it's like directly linked or if it's just like his subconscious kind of putting her into the narrative. Obviously she's in his thoughts with everything that's going on, or if she's like actually connected somehow. I mean, spirits could definitely be a thing in a world where there are these weird shadow thingies that copy people. There are obviously some supernatural, spiritual things going on with the storyline, so it could be her spirit of some kind. It could also be one of the shadows, and I feel like we need to address that being a possibility before we run off to the beach in the middle of the night by ourselves, following what we think is our dead friend. I just feel like there needs to be some caution to this choice of actions, but alas. So we'll have to see what that is gonna be about. I do wonder if there is anything specific about the shell necklace that is connected with it. Obviously we have her phone, so there's like the phone and the necklace. So I feel like there are little clues that I feel like if Yushio seems to have known that there was something going on because she did see the shadow, and if she wanted Shin to have her cell phone afterwards, that she knew that something was happening. So I wonder what other clues she's left behind from what she was able to figure out so that someone could find them. And specifically Shin, I feel like unlocking the phone is going to be something that only he'll know. Same with like the necklace, it's linked to something that they two share together as opposed to like something that people in general knew about her. But I mean, too soon for me to really know what's going on with this series. I feel like, again, I have many questions. I wonder why there was the damage on the floor of the Shiori's home next to like where her parents were, because I feel like since we focused on that there must be some kind of story behind that particular thing. Like if it was just part of the like set design, then it might have just been like a little disturbance in what was going on, but the fact that it was focused on for the shot makes me feel like there has to be something to that. And I wonder what is going to happen with the Shiori shadow, which apparently at this moment they think is the person who ended up killing Yushio. I don't know why it wouldn't be her shadow. I don't know why her body was still left behind. I feel like that is something that like clicked in my brain in this, where I was like, hang on, they like dissolve the bodies of the people that they copy or people that they attack in general. So why would they leave her body where people would see the strangulation marks and like know that she was dead, so they couldn't use the shadow copy of her anymore? I feel like there must have been some other motive behind it. There must have been something that would be a result of her body being around. Is it Shin? I feel like they know something about him. Were they trying to get him back to the island? I'll have to add some more to my board of clues and ideas that I have. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so this next time I post a summertime rendering reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!